This is a very mountainous area. We are at the foothill of the Himalayan mountains, and the roads are very narrow. And of course, you can imagine this area that's been ravaged by floods. The roads have been completely destroyed. There have been several landslides. It's very difficult to get around in these areas. When I was there in the flood zone also, everywhere we turned, we could drive for a couple of kilometers and then there was a roadblock, there was a landslide, or there was a threat of a landslide. So it's very difficult for rescue teams to actually access areas where they believe people may be trapped. They have stepped up their rescue efforts, they have intensified them, but when they're reaching areas, along with being able to rescue survivors, they are finding many dead bodies as well. And that's why the death toll is expected to rise significantly.
The number at the moment is 1,000, so you're saying, or expected to be 1,000. Could it rise from there? And also the number of people who are sort of isolated, 50,000 people, could that also rise?
Absolutely. I think it's fair to say that both those figures could rise. The death toll could be much higher than 1,000. And that's really because, as we talked about, it's very difficult for these rescue teams to reach certain areas. Also, 50,000 people who still need help. And a lot of these people are stuck in remote areas where they don't have food, they don't have water, they don't have shelter. And people in these areas are dying as a result of, lack of food, lack of nutrition. It's cold up there, and today it started raining again. So if they don't get help in time, the death count is going to rise. Also, there are so many thousands of people who are still unaccounted for. If you look at social media, if you look at Facebook, if you look at Twitter and Google, it's full of pages about people who are still asking for information about their loved ones. Even today, I've been getting messages, text messages and emails from people who are telling me, you were in the flood zone, CNN is in the flood zone. Do you have any information about my colleagues? Do you have information about my parents? So there are still many, many people who are unaccounted for.
Malika, do you think that this is going to be a disaster that requires the help of the international community?
That's a really good question, and people in India have started talking about that because already the public is very angry, and it has been criticizing the Uttarakhand state government, saying that they just weren't prepared. They have a disaster management team in place, but this team hasn't met since it was formed in 2007. And the state government is saying, well, yes, we do need help. They're simply just not prepared for dealing with a disaster on this scale. So I think we could see India reach out for some international aid over the next couple of days.